Hey guys, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. It's finally happening. Finally, it's taken so long. I thought this was never going to happen because Leeds United are set to secure a new signing. Not only that, but he is a genuinely very, very exciting player. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this as a live stream, but in a video-ish format, and then we'll do a little bit of a Q&A thing at the end, because this is one of my stream a day until Leeds United lose in the league things, which is going quite well. And I think after signing this player, it's going to be a little bit while longer until we lose. I don't think he'll be available at the weekend, but that's fine. This is the start of a very, very big week, effectively, and we need to make sure that we are signing enough strong, good players that can really make a colossal difference for us, and I genuinely think that that will be the case. So, in this stream/video, depending on when you're watching this, we will discuss exactly who Leeds United are signing, where he'll fit into their side, what exactly that deal is going to look like, what the plan will be for tomorrow. There's a very specific idea of what's going to happen tomorrow that's sort of been developed and I've put together based on various things I've heard from a lot of different places, when he'll be available to Leeds United, and ultimately what will come next. Before diving into what you think, we'll do Questions Corner, just because this is a live stream, and that makes Questions Corner quite doable. So, first up, we're going to start with the very, 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 very basics, with who Leeds United are signing. And the player's name is Largie Ramazani. He is currently playing at Almeria, who are in the Spanish second tier, so I believe it is La Liga Dos, I guess. I believe it was once called the Seconda Liga, but I'm not entirely sure anymore. Yeah, and whilst I was having a look at what he sort of does, I had a look at his stats and his data and things like that, and I'm going to do a very quick screen share for you to just show where exactly you can expect him to play, and this is his heat map right here. I quite like that. I quite like that he doesn't only play on the left, he can do the right-hand side as well. Apparently he can play up the middle as a striker too, which is really good considering we rather need a number 10. Very flexible, happy with both feet. What's he done in terms of scoring, in terms of feet? He's only scored 3 times, so it's going to be quite hard to tell, and they're all with his right foot. But left-hand side, likes to cut in, have a go. Fantastic. I really like that. And in my opinion, in terms of where he fits in, this is the perfect screaming out replacement for Crescencio Somerville, in my opinion. This is the, oh, he does the same thing, but you can also play on the right-hand side, which is something Somerville really couldn't do, which I think is a big benefit. When he has been here for a little while, I honestly think he's in with a shout of just starting. Dan James has played reasonably well. Willie Nonto has played reasonably well, but it's good to have that extra player there that will be competition for them, that will fight them for that starting berth. And the best bit is, it's a deal that makes sense. It's not 17 million quid on John Rowe. It's not 25 million quid on Jack Clark. It's 10 million pounds, which is still a hell of a lot of money, but we've leveraged sort of our situation and the situation that the other club is in, because we've recognised that we got relegated. That hurt our negotiating position. Almeria got relegated last season, so they're going to have a worse position as well, so we can just target them. 10 million pounds, and we've got him over. And the best bit is, apparently, this is all building towards one fairly strong, feasible plan for tomorrow. So, in terms of the plan for tomorrow, I'm going to start with what seemed like it was the plan for today. Basically, everyone in the YouTube space had heard bits and bobs about the fact that we were meant to have announced the third kit today. But reportedly, that got pushed back a little bit because bad PR and stuff. And I was having a little bit of a chat with Jer and Lockie earlier on Jer's podcast. I'd suggest going over there. The channel is Leeds United The View, but you all know that because he is a big old channel and genuinely big old role model. But the general gist there was that Leeds had not put out the third kit today because it would be bad press. And my thinking is we put it back to tomorrow because we knew that there would be a potential deal on for something like a Largie Ramazani. It's a lot harder for people to complain about the 49ers not finishing off any signings when we're about to finish some signings. It sort of adds up a little bit, I think. So that's sort of what I reckon is going to be coming. I think it's going to be a case of Leeds will approach that and go, okay, fantastic, we have a new signing, let's whack him in a third kit, take some press photos, we'll release those, announce the player and the kit at the same time. It kind of makes sense. As Black Badge has put it, new player, new shirt, fantastic. And the new shirt as well looks very, very nice. And I kind of want us to sign enough players that it doesn't feel like we kind of have to boycott. So that seems like the plan for tomorrow, but there's a further little question of when exactly he's going to become available. And that could be a little bit of a challenge because basically, off the top of my head, when it comes to registration rules for the championship, you need to have a player registered for, if it's a Friday match, Thursday lunchtime. So if it's a Saturday match, Friday lunchtime, at least off the top of my head. So it's going to be a rush to get this guy registered in time to get him available for Sheffield Wednesday. It'd be fantastic if we could, but at the same time, it's not something that we necessarily need to do. We don't need to force the issue. We don't need to try too hard to make sure that we are signing him, just because that would be fairly tricky, I think. I really, really like this line. Leeds going Largie. Fantastic. I love that. I think it is better than the rumoured one, yeah, in terms of the third kit. Seems like a budget Chukwueze who struggled to adapt from La Liga in Milan. Hopefully, Largie's a quicker study. I don't quite agree, but I'll get to that in a minute. So I don't think he'll be available for the Sheffield Wednesday match, but that's sort of helpful because it means that he'll have an entire week and a bit of training before Hull, in which case I think that will be his debut for Leeds United, which is not a bad time to have a debut. By the way, if you're here right now, I'd hugely appreciate if you could pop a like on the stream, because this is the most concurrent viewers I've had at any one point without being like raided or hosted by anyone, and that is absolutely wild. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate that. But then you get to the question of what comes next, because it's not just a case of we're signing Largie Ramazani and then we are done. That's an excellent bit of timing, Bowie Doctor. Largie Ramazani is the signing. And Baby Zebra asks, wait, no purple shirt. I'm going to find that shirt. But I think it's better than the rumoured purple shirt, I think. Kind of like it. Share this tab instead. Bosh. Kit looks a bit like this. So it's a little bit bus seaty, like the season before the promotion kit, but it's also got those like nice purple elements around the shoulders. I really like that kit quite a lot. Very nice. Fantastic. Replace the lilac from the third shirt with a yellow, and it's a 10 out of 10 kit. I like lilac though, so I'm not going to complain too much. Kebble and Benson next. I don't know if we'll do both, but either way, we will get to that soon. On the what comes next list, this is a forward that we quite badly need. He can cover the wings, he can cover inside, but we'll need a second attacking player as well. Absolutely no doubt about that. In addition to that, we'll need someone to play as a number 8, just because we're fairly thin on the ground over there. And in addition to that, ideally, we still need a left back. So we've got a lot more movement to come in the rest of the window. Question is, who's it going to be and when is it going to come? Good question, big question. But I think this is a very strong start because at the very least, we've got 9 days left and we've cut our need for players down from 5 or 4 to 4 or 3, depending on your opinion. I still really wouldn't fancy Dejan Ljubicic, but I've explained that on stream. But I think there's plenty of players out there for us to pick up someone absolutely fantastic. This is a shout, potentially a centre-back as well, because the rumours of Max Wuber's calf injury aren't the most convincing. I'm not entirely sure he is injured, but that's fine. Let's not do Jack Clark, because he would be like £20 million, and that would absolutely not be worth it. Not a fan of the third kit, and I'm happy to boycott it until the transfer window shuts anyway. I am in a spot where I kind of want that kit, but at the same time, if it's a really bad window, I will wait until it is on the most saley sale possible, because the club won't deserve the money at that point. But I reckon we'll do enough in terms of signings. Opinions on Clark, a little bit too expensive, but since we're into this bit, I will hop over to the questions corner banner. In which we just have a little bit of a chat. We open things up to the floor. We can talk about Largie Ramazani. We can talk about absolutely anything. A little bit of an open natter, and it'll be completely fine. Where is all my bits and bobs? I hugely appreciate that, Android. Thank you very much. I like that we're looking at foreign markets for players instead of just looking at marked up English players. I think that's the issue with looking at English players, because everyone that is playing in English leagues has a thorough understanding of the fact that Leeds United have a pile of cash and that the Premier League has a pile of cash. And the Premier League also needs to look at Championship players because you need a homegrown set of players to fit certain quotas. And if you don't fit those quotas, you can't play or you get fines or something like that. So I think it's a lot safer and more secure for us if we are smart about it and look at those foreign markets to sign players. And on... Where did that comment go? Jesus, completely lost it. On this one, what have I got against Jack Clark? I've not got anything against Jack Clark. What I do have against us signing Jack Clark would be the sheer cost of it. So the rumoured numbers are up to £25 million. Personally, I think Ramazani is a better footballer than Jack Clark, based on what I've seen when I've been working events for the Spanish market and over in La Liga and stuff like that, because I work watching football. I've seen a bit of Ramazani, very, very good, promising footballer with a decent level. And I think Jack Clark also has a good level. He's got a decent amount of potential, but I don't know if he's worth 20 to 25 million pounds. I think that would absolutely be daft. I think that is just us throwing money at a problem because that's the way that we think that we can deal with said problem. Also, just to warn you, YouTube is about to run an ad. Fastest way to get rid of it is just click on it and then go back, because that will just take you right back to the video. Alternatively, you could, I guess, close the stream for a moment, but either way, it's running it. Sorry. Okay, cool. That's another good point. Largie Ramazani's homegrown England's all help with the squad rules. I believe he came through the Scum Academy off the top of my head. Jesus, that's a wild season. Sorry, he was signed by Almeria in 2021 after a season in which he played 11.190s as a youth player, getting 11 goals and assists. His second season as a senior footballer, he got 9 goals and assists and won La Liga 2. This is someone that's gotten promoted, admittedly not from the Championship, but from a different division. Does anyone know what we've bought? My trust is lacking the 49ers off the slow movement of key incoming, so I hope this isn't a desperate signing sold, said with no knowledge of the player. The player's decent. The player is genuinely solid. From everything that I've seen about him, he is a good footballer. Admittedly, he was stuck in the Almeria squad last season, and they were very, very, very good at losing games of football. But very decent. There is one slight concern that we discussed on Jer's podcast earlier, that last season he got 9 yellow cards and a red card, which is a little bit concerning. But I think generally, in terms of quality and goodness, I think it's looking all good. In addition to that, there's also a little bit of discussion going on around Cabal from yesterday, Ilan, which is very, very nice because he's a very, very good player. And there were rumours that he is already in Leeds doing stuff like having a medical, which would be really nice because that would make things significantly easier for us, I think. Injury record. I believe his injury record's reasonably decent, but I can check it for you if you fancy. This isn't going to be the longest of streams, by the way. Largie Ramazani is now the most viewed player on Transfermarkt. He's played once this season and scored, so I'm not going to complain too much about him, I don't think. Stats, injury history, let's have a look. He's not been injured since the 21-22 season, in which he missed 1 game. In his entire senior career, he has missed 14 matches through injury, and that's through a lot of seasons. So I'm feeling fairly confident about this guy. I'm feeling fairly comfy. We did say the same about Piru, and I don't know if we ruined him. I just don't think we're playing him right. But the thing with Ramazani is he fits nicely into that Somerville slot anyway, which is very nice. Simplifies things a little bit, means that we don't have to worry about anything. It'll fall through or get a better offer and go somewhere else. Mr. I Am No Jedi, as I'm streaming like every day until we've lost, I'm going to say, if we do sign him tomorrow, you've got to come in my stream and say sorry. That's just the rules. I don't make the rules. I did this time. But for the most part, I don't make the rules. I'm just going to enforce them. Pop in, say sorry when you're wrong. Thank you. 10 million for Rodon, 10 million for this guy. Not bad for a championship team. Yeah. And the fact he's a player with fairly decent reputation all across Europe. He's absolutely not a bad signing for the championship. Genuinely fantastic. Very happy. Spanish refs in the championship, that's one booking. I don't know. Spanish referees are averse to yellow cards a lot of the time. No thank you on the Lubicic for reasons that I discussed on last night's stream. Don't necessarily want to get into right now because this is a good vibe stream. Is he a winger then? Yes, he can play on both wings. He can drift inside to be a number 10, but primarily he's played on the left flank, which is not a bad place for him to play, to be completely honest. Burnley are actively trying to sell Benson, which is partly why I don't hugely know if I fancy him, because if a player is that desperately being forced out by the squad, probably not a good idea. We need a 10 to get this team moving. That would be Ilan Kebal, who is also in the discussions. If he does happen, then I'm very excited about us signing him. It's a pretty big if, because we're absolutely uncertain about whether or not that'll happen, but we'll have to find out. Are we genuinely tracking flights right now? That's the Leedsiest thing that I've seen happen for quite some time. Ayo Tanaka would be, I think, decent and is less hate crimey than Lubicic. Rosine for Marseille for 13 million. It's not even just 13. I think it's 13 plus 4 and then 25% of an add-on. So I can see why we didn't sell for that, because that's a hell of a lot of cash that I don't think we'd be able to necessarily afford. I prefer Anderson to be given a shot at the 10 before taking shots on the league. They're hopeful. I mean, right, I'm going to find a slightly different way of phrasing that. So we are in the second division. Let's not forget that. We are still a second division side. Whilst that is the case, we can't look at second divisions elsewhere and go, no thanks. I don't think we necessarily have the right to be doing that right now, given the position that we are in, which is not a very good position. Plus, it would be the equivalent of saying, you see, I wouldn't sign Jorginho Rutter because he's in the Championship. Like, he was one of the best number 10s in Ligue 2. That's not too bad. That's fine. Salah, I believe is that the one that's pronounced Sallai, or is that Szalai? They're both Hungarian footballers. I think a winger, but I'm not 100% certain. Wrong vibe for this stream. You can put that one away. I severely doubt that we're still interested in Jack Clark. There's a PJ from Almeria to Leeds about 30 minutes ago, landing at 9:47. Ooh, very interesting. Someone get to Leeds Bradford with the telephoto lens. I'm not asking, I'm telling. We need to do that. On this one, have we actually signed someone or is it just a rumour? I believe it is going to be happening because I'm just going to hop over to Twitter and see exactly who has reported it. Because it's been reported by the YEP, The Athletic, Fabrizio Romano. Basically, all of the sources that you could possibly need to discuss something for it to be functionally confirmed have discussed it, including the good old here we go from Fabrizio Romano. Medical tests are booked. That will either be tonight or tomorrow morning, I believe. Do you watch a lot of football, Cabal's quality? I know, I do watch quite a lot of football. All of the shop. I've just been pinged a link. Hang on. I would show that video on stream. I would play it on stream, but I don't want to get copyrighted. But also, yes, Sky Sports. And Sky Sports are like always the last to things because they don't like being wrong. Did BBC News discuss it? That's a very good question. Probably. Let's have a look. Has Popey done it? Yeah, Popey's done it. So BBC have also covered it. Whilst I'm talking about Twitter things, by the way, there we go. I've I've put my Twitter in the chat. Give it a follow if you fancy. That'd be appreciated. We have signed a winger by the name of Largie Ramazani, who currently plays for Almeria in the Spanish second division. I don't see people losing their minds about that second division, but that's fine. You can show a screenshot of it. Yeah, I mean, basically everyone that we need to report it for it to be somewhat feasible and accurate has reported on it. So I think we're looking good. I love watching the Filipino fourth division proper class ballers there. I mean, they might be. You don't know. You can't guarantee either way, can you? Who knows? I'm not in the know. I just know how to understand what sources are accurate. Far too many people will see a tweet and just go, oh, "It's that one." No, don't see a tweet and just believe it. This is genuinely supported by all of the good sources, and I know a couple of people that know a few people within clubs, and they also seem to be agreeing with all of this. So it's looking good, I think. Say that slow. People think you said Ramazani. Oh, sorry, Ramazani, not Radrazani. Yeah, even the tap-in merchants claimed it, so it's fine. We're not getting into throwing bottles today. That's our potential future signings job, based on everything that we've heard and seen. Yeah, there are genuinely very good players in the French second division. This is a good example. Mahrez was from Ligue 2. The fact that a lot of people are looking down at Ligue 2 and sort of being a bit sniffy about it, it doesn't sit right with me, because there's no real need to be doing. Who's Kebble? He is a player for Paris FC, 26 years old. By the way, Ramazani is 23, 24 sort of territory. Had a really, really big upturn in his career in the past couple of years, been really, really good. And I believe is just going to continue that wonderful little uptick in form, which will be very, very nice for us to be able to sign, because players with that sort of quality you don't find all the time. And if we are able to find him and sign him, then I think we're in a really, really good position, I think. I go for a return of Yanni Cam on a free transfer. Is Yanni a free agent? Is he? I think he is unattached. But I can't find anything about it. I didn't know Alioski was Muslim. Interesting. Okay. Very impressed with what I've seen of him. That's good. Wonder how far down the list of possible transfer targets this kid was. That's assuming the club had a list to start with. He's not the sort of player that you'd find at the bottom of a list, Ramazani. At least from everything that he's done before. Appreciate all the interaction in Question Corner. How to keep it with 400 in the chat. That's the thing. It's not 400 in the chat. It's a bunch of people being full screen and then 30 of you in the chat. So if I were to say everyone that has me full screen post a message now, I'd be in genuine trouble. In fact, do it. Let's see how that goes. Put the word, I don't know, pigeon. But the fact that it's 30 of you makes it more manageable. I do try and keep up with the chat though, just because I quite like being nattering on with the chat. Also, yes, fair play to Lockie, because Lockie is incredibly big brain. The fact is he can find any player from anywhere and it will just work, and I don't understand how that works. And Boomo and Benrahma are from the French second division as well. Yeah, that's true. That's a lot of pigeons. Oh my god. How do we convince him an Aztec release clause of 2 if we don't go up? Wouldn't surprise me. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think the fact of the matter is we're still a decent enough side. We can offer fairly strong wages. Almeria aren't in a better position than we are at all. We're in a decent enough spot. Also, I apologise. That's a very good point. I shouldn't have done that with one moderator in place. Ricky, you're a cheeky little bastard. Number 10, number 8, and a fullback in will look much better. I think so. Yeah, that'll be a little bit more depth, a little bit more comfy, a little bit more cozy, and I think that we will be in a position where we can be quite happy with the squad. At least I want to be happy with this squad. Yanni just got his badges finished. Sorry, Yanni's going to do coaching? We do have a second mod. I thought you were just over in the Twitch there. Which, if anything, is a you problem. Yeah, you see? There's a lot more people after saying post the word pigeon than there were beforehand, because a lot of people just sort of watch in the background. Yeah, Alioski as the coach would be genuinely hilarious. Imagine if he gets them playing like prime Bielsa, like top tier stuff. Incredible. Do you think Max will go? Depends if there's interest. I think it makes sense for him to want to go, because I don't know what we're going to be able to provide him in terms of minutes and match time, because I don't think he's really worth that much right now. But it's a question of will there be any buyers, and I think that's where we're going to have a little bit of a struggle. Cantwell will, as far as I'm aware, having heard some things, not want to play under Daniel Farker. Oh, don't watch Take Us Home. That's just going to make you cry. We know that it's going to make you cry. Right, this is a daft take. Why is it incredible? 10 mil for a Spanish second tier player with no experience. We've been mugged big time. Fuck's sake. Acknowledge that sometimes a player can be more than their stats. At the time that we signed, let's have a look. Yanni Alioski, for example, he'd effectively only played 50 games of football in the Swiss second division. It's not La Liga, you know? Not even a little bit La Liga. We signed Pablo Hernandez from Qatar, which, looking at it, would have been absolutely dreadful. Can't even remember where we signed Mateus Glitch from. If you're looking at pure numbers as to why you should or shouldn't buy a footballer, bit daft. We signed him from FC20 after he had played for Kaiserslautern, Zwolle, and Cracovia in the Ekstraklasa. That's not good. It's not very good. Like, come on. Let's not be stupidly negative for literally no reason. I know you think it's fun or you get some weird kick out of trying to be sad, but you shouldn't, because it's just a bit depressing. Mainly for you. You're the one that has to sit in the sadness. Where were we? He's also good at backflips, that helps. Yeah, it'll be resolved one way, it'll be resolved on the pitch, and I genuinely think he is good enough to sort of prove himself on the pitch, which would be good. Can you tell us more about the player? I will find more about the player. So Largie Ramazani has already played once in La Liga 2 this season and scored a goal. However, before that, he has, in spite of being relegated with Almeria, he's in the top 14% of players for assists, top 8% for expected assists, and top 9% for combined expected goals and assists. So he creates threats and he finishes off threats. Top 25-ish% for non-penalty XG as well. Very, very high numbers on his interceptions and clearances, which tells me that he's a player that's happy to play in a high press, which is something that we really need. Can he take corners? I don't know, I'll be completely honest with you. I've not checked. But we'll find out, I guess. I don't think we'll find out against Sheffield Wednesday. I think it'll wait for Hull. But he technically didn't play for them. He played for the youth team, although it was a fair point. Milner on loan would be a good move if he'd come. I don't think we'd get James Milner on a loan. Purely because I need to quickly check something here. Purely because Milner is currently 19 appearances away from having made the most appearances in the Premier League. he ain't going to come to the championship if that record is firmly within his reach this season or the next. But I don't think that happens. On this one, it's a very, very good question. I think he would be a little bit better out on the left flank, but it's a question of who rotates out for that. I don't even think he immediately starts. I think it'll take a little bit of time. But it could be one of those cases like last season where if someone gets injured, someone comes in, absolutely shines, and the other player can't get their way back into the squad. Could always be something like that, but I don't know. But either way, I'm going to end the stream here because I have bits and bobs to do, including just having a bit of a chill evening because these late evenings have been not easy when doing the streams, especially when I've been doing it after work. So we'll do one more question in Questions Corner. The next question that pops through the comments, I will answer, and then we shall call it a stream there. It's been very nice having you all along, by the way. I massively appreciate it. Thank you very much, Zach. I like having the positive vibe, and we have the final question of the stream. Do you like pigeons? Sorry, I'll do the next 3 questions because they're all brilliant. I do not like pigeons because they are effectively sky rats, and I don't think they are there to be respected. I think they are deeply, fundamentally rubbish. Why pigeon? Because it's a word that popped in my head. I've got no idea why said word popped in my head. It just kind of did. And yes, I agree. Also, apparently he's landed at Leeds Airport, which is great, which means he's coming in. And we have no further doubt on any of that. On this one, I will actually cover one final actual question before I finish. He is Belgian. And his parents are from Burundi. So I believe he'd be eligible for both national teams. Yeah, because he's not been picked by Belgium yet. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this stream. If you did, pop a like on the stream. It's always massively appreciated. Helps it get pushed out a little bit further. Subscribe if you're not yet. You might be a new person around here, and that's always massively appreciated. It helps to sort of boost the channel up a little bit further. You can even become a channel member. It's 99p for a month, and all the videos that I record late at night to publish first thing in the morning, channel members get those early. Basically, most videos that I do, I will record a little bit earlier and then schedule them later. So you get all those early, basically, is the biggest benefit, I guess. But either way, hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I shall see you later. Where's the link to find that? The link to find what? Why am I answering the question? It'll be on my channel, and it just says the word join, but you can do that. Anyway, that's one more question than I expected from Questions Corner. See you later.